Imagine you're in a meeting and a manager asks, how can we make this training more engaging? Can we gamify it? And in that moment you think, here's my chance to do something better. You've been making the same kind of training for years. You finally have a chance to have a project that's going to be fun to make and fun for the learner to take. All you need is a good idea to pitch right now, because if you don't speak up, you know Brenda's going to say Jeopardy again, and you'll be back in template hell. And a lot of you tell me you're struggling to come up with an idea on the fly like this. You're sick of traditional e-learning, you want to be more creative, but when it comes to time to pitch something new, you freeze. And you might think that that's because you're not creative enough, but it's less about creativity than it is about having a process that you can quickly go through in the moment so that you can reliably come up with an original, useful idea. And that's what I'm going to show you today so that you can quickly come up with engaging training ideas that'll get buy-in even when you're under pressure. But before we start, hi, my name is Mary Jo. I'm a former video game producer, and this channel is all about using game mechanics to make your training more engaging, but especially more effective. I have a program on how to gamify your e-learning, and if you want to know more about that, check out the link below. Now let's see how to come up with great ideas on the fly. So like I said, you don't need to be overflowing with creative genius to reliably have good ideas. Creativity isn't always dependable anyway. I can't decide that tomorrow I'm going to sit down at 9 a.m. and have a kick-ass idea. It just doesn't work that way. So if I was depending on creativity to make my living, I'd starve. But when clients start telling me their problems and their goals, I can actually see the game in it, and I can see how that game is going to train their learners effectively and solve their problem. And that's not actually creativity. I just have this process to come up with the right idea, because of course, not every idea is a good idea and not every idea should be pitched. So before we start, we have to quickly look at what your idea should have before you pitch it. So a good idea needs to get people excited right here in the meeting, but also it needs to create a result down the line. So it has to be relevant and effective. People have to see how it's going to solve their problem. It needs to keep learners engaged. It needs to be new and different from what's come before, and it needs to be specific. Specific is important because if your idea is vague, people are going to fill in the blanks with their own assumptions, and in doing that, they'll usually just default to the same old overused solutions. So if you're vague and they don't get it, they assume that what you're pitching is that thing that they've seen before. And once they latch onto that, it's either going to get nixed or it's going to get approved, but you're back to doing the same old, okay? So now let's look at how to come up with an idea that does all that on the fly. Step 1, zero in on a behavior. So let's say the course is about a super broad topic like efficiency, and that breaks down into all sorts of skills like time management, reducing waste, lean budgeting, etc. Do not try to address the whole thing right now. Just focus on one aspect of it, and the more concrete, the better. So pick a specific desired behavior. And to do that, you can ask a clarifying question like, what should they be doing that they're not? And let's say the client says, people are wasting a lot of time on unimportant tasks. Okay, so we want them to prioritize tasks better. That's your observable behavior. Then once you've isolated the behavior, think about how you can simulate it. So just off the top of my head, we can give them an Outlook calendar and they have to schedule the tasks in it in the right order of priority. Now, when you're thinking about how to simulate, I want you to try to avoid the usual go-to solutions, especially branching scenarios. Branching scenarios sometimes are the right answer, but because they can be applied to anything, they tend to be overused. For example, you could use a branching scenario if you're teaching someone how to change a tire. You would just ask them what the first step is, and if they get it wrong, they see the consequence, and then you bring them back to choose something else. That can be done with anything, but chances are there's something specific about your client's context that you can focus on instead of being generic. So that activity is your final challenge, and that's probably enough for a quick pitch. You are going to need all the steps for how you're going to get the learner to the point where they can do this perfectly, but you don't need all that yet. You have the final vision of what the game will be. And if you want to know more about how to build this active learning string, I've got some videos about that on this channel, and you can check out my program at the link below. Next, you want to channel your inner Kathy Moore and ask, why aren't they doing this correctly already? People often know what they're supposed to do, but there's a reason why they're not doing it. Whatever that obstacle is, you want to try to build that obstacle into your challenge. For example, let's say my client is a veterinary office and the receptionist is prioritizing pets who just really need a yearly checkup over pets who need to be seen more urgently. And maybe the reason why she's doing that is that she's just prioritizing the clients who yell at her. So of course we're going to throw that kind of client into the simulation with some training on how to politely de-escalate those clients and get her to practice that, because that's the real challenge. So now you have an idea that's relevant, specific, and keeps the learner active. It's not going to cover everything, but at this point, you just need to give them a taste of what the thing could be like. Now you have to pitch it, and when you do that, keep in mind that gaining buy-in is not about lecturing people about the principles of learner engagement or throwing statistics about gamification at them. People latch on to things that just make sense to them. And the good news is the idea that you just came up with is based on principles that make sense to everyone. Number one, your idea is an activity, a simulation. So it gets learners doing something, not just passively clicking through, and everyone knows that learning by doing is better. Number two, your idea is relevant. You use the real-world desired behavior and context to craft your idea. And the obstacle also mirrors the real-world challenge that they're going to face. Three, your activity is engaging because by giving the learner a challenging problem to solve, you're ensuring that they can't just pick the longest answer and get everything right without thinking about it. And four, your idea is different from what's come before because you use the client's specific problem, context, and obstacle to come up with it. The more custom it is, the less likely you are to pitch something that's been done before. The key to defending your idea is to know it's going to work, and you don't just build that confidence by building yourself up in the mirror. You have to remember that your idea is based on those principles that everyone gets. It just makes sense. Also notice that this doesn't rely on you selling anyone on gamification. You're completely bypassing that, and you're going straight to how you're going to relieve their headache in a way that's engaging. And because you've honed in on a specific behavior, your idea feels more concrete and more real. People respond to specifics, and when they can visualize how your idea solves their problem, they're way more likely to support it. It might even feel to them like it was their idea all along, and that's fine. Let them take credit. What matters is that you're out of template jail and you're about to make effective training that you're going to be proud of and that's actually going to solve a problem. So the next time you're in a meeting and someone asks, how can we make this more engaging? Don't panic. You now have a process that'll help you come up with a good idea on the fly. Pick a desired behavior, add an obstacle, and focus on making your solution unique to the client's context. And if you want more strategies to gamify your training and get stakeholder buy-in, check out the Effective Gamification Framework, where I guide you step by step on how to make gamified e-learning that learners love and that creates real-world results that your clients can actually see. So check that out below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.